What an incredibly beautiful moment it was on board the tribute for the Don Gardner Memorial. Spreading some of his ashes, his family and loved ones had an emotional experience.
It's not for Don's ashes.
Hey, slide in there. Dean, your first tuna, buddy. Yeah, nice. That's right. He killed that.
Blessings to Dean Gardner for that extraordinary catch of a bluefin tuna, and blessings to everyone who was in attendance for this very special memorial. Everybody, September 23rd is a really special day. It is my son Patrick's birthday. I thought I'd show you a couple photos of past adventures that we have been on. And believe me, we've done it all together, traveling throughout Mexico. We lived in China together for some time. In fact, we were the first father and son teaching team at Quinshan International School. That was a lot of fun. And Patrick came to China to teach, and he met his lovely wife, Kaylin, there. They are now married, and their son, Finn, is bringing immeasurable joy to so many. Patrick, I wish you a wonderful day today, and I can't wait until I get back there in October and I'm able to meet Finn and hang out with all of you. Really looking forward to that. And while we look at these adventures in Mexico and around the world and here in the United States, we still have lots more to do. Lots more fun, lots more adventures. I am so proud of my son, Patrick, most of all because of the father he has become. He's a great father and husband. He's doing such a wonderful job. He works so hard. And I'm telling you right now, I am more than proud of him. Hey, so if you don't mind, let's wish Patrick a happy birthday. Thanks, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. And son, I love you more than anything. Happy birthday, and I'll see you really soon.
You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Let's go fishing with Phil Friedman. Ha!
Hi, this is JR with the Fivers. You know what time it is?
It's time for the morning briefing.
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Kind of a foggy morning here. It's a little bit on the chilly side, at least for us babies here in Southern California. But man, we have got a lot to talk about. We're going to go south of the border, check out some fishing in Mexico Lindo. We're also going to talk about Tanner and Cortez Bank, the Highliner, just arriving there. We've already heard from the Endeavor. They're out there. The Freedom just completed a really great trip with Dan Lightfoot and Michael Limon. We're going to watch that for you very closely. There's some bluefin tuna biting up there around San Francisco and in NorCal. Some really good fishing going on up there. We'll check the islands, the surf, and so much more. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, my God. Is that good? Wow, there is so much going on. First of all, it's September 23rd, and as you saw by the lead-in, it is my son Patrick's birthday. I am so proud of Patrick. We've been through it all together, traveling around the world, living in China together, and man, I'll tell you, I'm so proud of him and the father that he has become. Can't wait to get back to Florida in October to meet Finn, my new grandson, see Patrick, his lovely wife, Kaylin, and her family. It's going to be great. And I'll take you along for the adventure because we're going to be covering some content there in Florida for you also. Yesterday, out at the OC Fairgrounds, I met Pablo Pena. It was so good to see him. And man, we had a chance to talk some fishing and some other great stuff that we were involved in. Principally, of course, the Desiree Rodriguez story. Our reunion video with Mark Paisano and Paul Strasser. They rescued that little girl 36 years ago and had never seen her since. And Pablo actually knew Desiree, introduced her to me. And then, of course, that podcast is history now. It was such a memorable time, almost 1 million views on that. And, of course, it landed us in the international press. So, Pablo, great to see you yesterday and your lovely family in addition. Really, really great stuff.
This is not a translator. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you.
I'm Desiree.
Oh my God. Holy shit. I'm so happy. Oh my God. Phil, how the hell did you do this?
So much to talk about. Before we get into it, hit that like button, share these videos with a friend, subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, and click that little bell because you'll be notified when there's new content. We are on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on X, on Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We'll see you there also. South of the border, some outstanding fishing in a zone, in an area, in a little pueblito we call Baja de Los Angeles, also known as BOLA, the acronym, and Bay of LA. In English, it's a great place to fish, and Abdul Ryan and Manny Mercado put the wood to some big groupers, some acrobatic dorado, and some big, fat, powerful yellowtail on their most recent trip. They shared a lot of that with us. So great to see you guys having such a wonderful trip. The climate right now down there in the Bay of LA is beautiful, and as you can see, the fishing has been outstanding. Up there in Ensenada, there's some bluefin tuna offshore, and they're starting to nibble a little bit better. It's still kind of hit and miss, as I would describe it, but we're seeing a little bit more of that starting to come together. Hopefully, it's going to continue here in the fall. Maybe we'll get some more yellowfin tuna pushing in there in addition to that. We've seen some of that yellowfin in there. We've seen some bluefin. And of course, there's still some marlin kind of circulating around the Ensenada area. A lot of guys are fishing the bottom stuff and doing really, really good. Out of Ensenada yesterday, Sammy Susare Amador, he runs right out of the Malecon there, out of Sergio Sport Fishing. Tremendous fishing down there around Santo Tomas for big lings and excellent rock fishing. It can't get much better than that. Really, really great fishing for all the guys in Ensenada. Highly recommend you go down there and give it a try. Speaking of Ensenada, my co-host, Paulina, she was up in San Diego with her mom, and they were goofing around in San Diego when somebody recognized Paulina from our shows. Doug Rubin from the boat El Sueño. He said, Paulina, it's so good to see you. Let me take you to the San Diego Marlin Club and take you guys to lunch. So it's so nice of you, Doug, to do that. We really appreciate what you did for Paulina and Berenice, and I'm so happy you all got together. That is absolutely fantastic. Long-range fishing remains excellent, fantastic. 7-8 day trips out of San Diego have been phenomenal this year, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. 40 to 80 pound yellowfin tuna, not really a problem getting limits for months now down the Baja coast for 500 miles. Alijos Rocks continues to kick out great wahoo fishing, albeit once in a while inconsistent. For the most part, still very steady. And the yellowtail bite has been phenomenal. On the way home, the boats will go into the Baja coast where they'll find more yellowtail, some big calico bass fish, rockfish. What an adventure. What a great long-range summer season it has been for the San Diego long-range boats. I don't know how it can get much better. Independence, we're on board there in April of 25. It's a 5-day trip that you're not going to want to miss. Give the Independence office a call right now. Tanner Cortez Bank, as I said, the Endeavor probably has limits of bluefin tuna. Eddie Berrigan and Bella Berrigan are on board that trip and having an absolute ball. So happy for them. And of course, the Endeavor out of Ventura Sport Fishing, they always are on their game. Michael Limon, Dan Lightfoot on board the Freedom. An overnight trip. They go to Tanner Bank. Now, that gives you a short window in terms of the hours you actually get to fish to make it happen. And they made it happen. 47 bluefin tuna on the Freedom. They arrived last night to 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. Our home base, Dan and Michael said, wow, these guys couldn't have been any better. The crew on the Freedom, fantastic. And of course, galley cook Steve Welsh, not only providing great culinary masterpieces, but providing a lot of great entertainment. Also, Steve's a great guy, a lot of fun, and you will enjoy your time on board the Freedom. Now, Dan said they had to drop down to 20, 25-pound fluorocarbon with smaller hooks. So you get a bite that way, but guess what? They lost, he thinks, as many as they caught. So probably lost around 50 bluefin tuna also. But you got to get a bite to catch a fish. So you got to choose a good hot bait and drop that fluorocarbon down. That will make all the difference in the world. The Highliner's just there now. Max says they're starting to pick a few fish. We'll watch them very closely. The Highliner's been on it all season long. So really good stuff. Watching also the bite on board the Fury out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing recently. There's a bluefin that came on board for them. Nice fish. Great stuff there on the Fury. The Amigo limits of bluefin tuna out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel or coming to us from some other part of the world, boats from San Diego all the way up to Ventura, as we mentioned yesterday, can access Tanner and Cortez Bank, about a 90, 100-mile run for all these guys. So they get out there and they can make it happen. And we've seen some outstanding fishing, no question about it. Now, it has slowed up out there. It is much finickier. Some guys have some really good scores, and other guys have struggled. Islander on a 3-day trip, 31 bluefin tuna for those boys. So you do see kind of mixed scores. Some guys really putting the wood to them. Freedom, that's an outstanding score. And other guys kind of just really having a tougher time of it. Think we're coming off the effects of the full moon. During the full moon periods here, we've had an adverse effect. The moon's had an adverse effect on our bluefin tuna offshore fishing. So once we get past that, normally it picks up again. The weather out there, a little breezy, but not bad at all. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed that we're on the upswing, because we're leaving on a 2-day trip on board the Apollo out of C4 Sport Fishing in San Diego. That's right, Friedman Adventures. Don't forget, guys, bring some light stuff, bring some heavy stuff. The nighttime bite is not very good right now. It has not been biting too well at all, but you still want to bring some 350 smaller profile jigs with you just in case. You never know. Up there in Northern California, some big bluefin tuna. Private boaters were on it, and also some sport boat guys were on it. There are some really big foamers of bluefin up there off San Francisco and other Northern California venues. So that is all great news, man. There is a lot of fish around, and that is fantastic. Let's talk about what's going on now with the islands, and we'll talk about the Coronado Islands, where there's a significant amount of bluefin tuna, either at the islands while you're on the anchor or just offshore from there. You've got a very good chance to catch some BFT, and that is fantastic news. So on board the Grande yesterday, they had a yellowtail, 12 bluefin tuna, a halibut, and they had rockfish to go along with that. They are recommending 30-pound fluoro to fly line with, 40 to 50-pound mono to yo-yo with, and hooks in the 10 to 20 size. Circle hooks when you're fishing that bluefin tuna. A lot of guys are starting to focus in on that BFT, so that's really, really good to hear. And we'll continue to watch it for you very closely. The San Diego out of C4 Sport Fishing went offshore. 5 yellowfin tuna. We keep scratching at that yellowfin tuna. There's still local yellowfin tuna out here also. We'll talk about that in a moment. Man, this is all of a sudden coming to life behind me. I don't know what you've been seeing, but these pelicans are really starting to get active here. A good signal that there's some bait here and maybe some predators right behind it. We'll continue to watch that. 5 yellowfin scratching at it. This local yellowfin I'll talk about in a moment, but seems like we're headed in the right direction on that. It just never gets to the point where it bites wide open. We're looking at a lot of fish. Sometimes that's the prelude to some really good yellowfin tuna fishing. You see them and they tease you, and that goes on for, it seems like, weeks, and then all of a sudden they bite. They have yet to bite like full speed, but we'll keep watching that for you very, very closely. So Coronado Islands, remember, you do need a passport to fish the Coronado Islands, so keep that in mind if you're headed to San Diego. It sounds like that's what those full day guys are doing. Unfiled taxes, shame on you. Call Tim Marquez. He'll handle that for you and all your tax needs. And for heating and or air conditioning needs, it's John Lopez over there at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. Moving you up the islands to San Clemente Island, some bass, calico bass. There are a few Yellowtail also biting there. Man, these things are going nuts here. There's great rock fishing. Catalina Island, a lot of guys are switching over to catch rockfish right now. And man, the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing with some really great fishing going on. Lings and nice boccaccio and all kinds of nice reds. Really excellent fishing. In fact, on the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing, they're kind of switching over until they see a little bit better surface bite. They're going to switch over and fish the rockfish right now. So they're asking you to bring some 8 to 10 ounce sinkers with you. Be prepared for a surface bite because you just never know. But pretty much they're going to focus in on fishing the bottom stuff right now, and they're doing really, really well. You want to bring hook sizes, according to the guys on the El Patron, number 4 to 2.0 size hooks, and you can get on the El Patron by going to www.longbeachsportfishing.org, as I like to say, get on the El Patron. They're fishing the rockfish, providing excellent table fare, sending you home with a lot of nice fillets. Hey, I want to talk to you just a moment. Well, let me keep going here and just mention Channel Islands. We see an occasional halibut, occasional white sea bass, but it's pretty much rockfish up there in that neck of the woods. Santa Barbara, same kind of thing, some lings and rockfish going on. And we'll just ride you up to Avila Beach, Morro Bay, rockfish. We're also seeing, some lings up there. And San Francisco, beautiful rock fishing, a lot of stripers up there, also still some halibut, but there's some bluefin foamers up there you got to be aware of. That's looking good. We had a look at our local marlin situation. Now is the time when that marlin bite can be really good. I know it was good earlier this year, but right now we had Dave Dodge, who's an extraordinary captain, but even a better friend. Dave, good morning to you. Dave was out recently and gave me his synopsis. They covered the Catalina Island area. There's a bank called the 277. They worked through there. They covered the shipping lanes looking for a marlin bite. And Dave said, the water's kind of cool right now. We need a hurricane or something down the Baja coast to push some warm water up here, because this marlin's not going to bite in this 65-degree water. They had a lot of 65, 66-degree water, a lot of molas around, sunfish as they are commonly referred to, but no marlin. They did, however, hook and lose a big marlin down at the east end of Catalina Island, right out there. I know you can't see it, but it's right out there. They hooked a nice big marlin that they lost. Conditions off a little bit for that marlin bite. Just wanted to let you private boaters know all about that. And again, hopefully the water will warm up. We're kind of into a La Nina cycle right now, and La Ninas produce colder water. And I think that's why you're seeing rockfish just all of a sudden, even along the coast, which I'll get into you within a moment here. It's just like cooler water and rockfish. So we'll see how this all plays out as we move along. All right, that yellowfin tuna still around the bank, called Lawson's Knoll, more commonly known as the 14-mile bank, and the 267, another bank right off Dana Point, California. There's been a lot of yellowfin tuna bouncing around there. Guys saw it this weekend, and a few were caught, some on poppers, some on trolled Mad Mac lures, squid chains. Trolling those have also been effective. It's not wide open, but there's a significant amount of fish there, and some of them, the yellowfin tuna, that is, are over 60 pounds. There's some nice big fish in there. So once again, we're seeing that YFT here. Let's take you down to San Diego, California, and talk local fishing. Still some bass and bonito down there. It seems to have slacked up. I don't know if it was the weekend bow pressure. We'll see here today as the boys will be out again. But overall, that local bite in San Diego this year has been phenomenal, and it's still pretty darn good. It was like 5-6 days ago when the new Seaforth had 27 yellowtail. Most of the time it's going to be calico bass, sand bass, a mix of rockfish, some big halibut occasionally, not a lot, but an occasional nice big fish. And those yellows are in the mix. Hopefully they're going to turn on and we get that boat pressure off here today. And during the week, you'll see that forky turn on again. You want to have some 30-pound because they're nice big yellows. If you're fly lining a bait, you also want to have some 25-pound. Bring it all, as I like to say. But when you're throwing the iron 40 to 50-pound, you don't want to fish any lighter than that. Whether you're yo-yoing a jig, a smaller, heavier jig that you sink deep and wind on fast, or a surface iron, which, as the name implies, moves across the surface of the ocean. You see those yellows blow out on it. Fish heavier line. That will make all the difference in the world. So you up there around Oceanside, a little bit of bass, rockfish, sheephead, same thing up there around Newport Beach, California, a few bonita and calico bass here in the Long Beach area, rockfish for the most part. Up there in Marina del Rey, some nighttime big sand bass and calico bass on the twilight trips, but rockfish during the daytime for sure. So that has been the situation on all of that. Don't forget about our friends up there at Ventura Sport Fishing and the Island Spirit. They've got some great trips lined up for you. Kids fish free every Sunday on the Island Spirit. Yesterday, they had great rock fishing up there. So once again, some really fun fishing on a great boat with a fantastic crew. VenturaSportFishing.com or give them a call at 805-676-3474. So your local bite is turning to rockfish right now. It doesn't mean it's the end of it. Maybe we get a push of warm water, but it's looking more and more like a La Nina kind of situation where water is cooler right now. And if I'm taking my eyes off you, I apologize to you, but man, those pelicans are going insane down there. Really, really good show on the Pelicanos, and they're headed this way now, so maybe they'll crash in the water behind us. In the Southern California surf, we're seeing some nice big barred perch down there around Huntington Beach. As I point you down to Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. You can pick up all your bait there. SoCal Surf Fishing Headquarters are giving away a free custom rod every month. This month for the biggest halibut, you just go in there, buy your ruler, and they'll give you all the details. You don't have to spend any more money in the contest after you buy the ruler. For somebody said it's $15. I thought it was $8, but somebody told me it was $15. Get the ruler, and then you're all set. You're in the contest. They'll give you all the rules down there. Back to Huntington Beach, some big bar perch, occasional corvina, but that's been kind of tough. We're seeing a few more spot fin croaker right now. They're going to be taking on bait here right now. Man, I would be fishing all over this with all this bird life going on. Pelicanos have moved off to another area, although they're hitting the water. When you see that, by the way, there's bait in the area, and trying to, match the hatch, throwing a little chrome crocodile when you have conditions like that is not a bad idea at all. A little bit of yellowfin croaker here. Haven't seen all that much corvina, but you can pick off a halibut from time to time. Up around El Segundo, we've seen some pretty good corvina fishing up there, and around the Topaz Rock Jetty, there is also some decent corvina fishing going on in that neck of the woods. Don't forget our used tackle drive. We're going to collect all kinds of used tackle, and then it's all going down to the island of Cedros, to the children down there in Mexico who don't have enough fishing gear. And so we deeply appreciate you dropping off your used fishing tackle so we can get it down to Mexico to some really deserving kids. I'm working with Diego Nuno, who was born on the island of Cedros. He's a deckhand on the Royal Star, and together we are going to get all that gear down there here in the wintertime, and we can't thank you enough. You can drop that tackle off at Hook, Line, and Sinker in Santa Barbara, California, at Ventura Sport Fishing in Ventura, Eric's Fishing Tackle up there in Ventura, Tackle Express in Santa Clarita, right down the street here at Big Fish Bait and Tackle, Seal Beach, Island Fishing Tackle, Sam De La Torre. Don't forget, Tackle Shop Confessions live tonight. You can drop it off with Sam. And in Bellflower, California, Young's Fishing Tackle. Really appreciate all your support and all you do to help us help others, because it's really all about you. You guys are the ones who make this happen. I'm just the guy who asks you to help, and man, you never let us down. Really great stuff. All right, my friends. Patrick, happy birthday. What a glorious day. I wish I were with you and could give you a big hug right now. And it was so good to see you, Pablo, yesterday. The man who made the Desiree Rodriguez story a reality. If you have never watched that podcast, almost 1 million views now, you should go and check it out. It is really something special. You'll see it right here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. And all of you who have pushed our stats to astronomical levels this year, I really can't thank you enough. Have a wonderful start to your work week, and I hope to see you really, really soon.